Hi guys, this might be a very long video, a very long short video, depending on how fast we go about this. So currently what I'm going through is work with Azure Blob Storage, explore Azure Blob Storage client library. The .NET libraries offer interfaces to manage blobs effectively. Microsoft recommends using the version 12 and above of the application. So there's a couple of classes that you get from Azure.Storage.Blob namespace, which include BlobClient, which include BlobClient options, which also includes BlobClient container client, Blob service client, Blob URL builder as well. So the BlobClient is the one that allows you to manipulate Azure Storage blobs. A BlobClient option provides the client configuration options for connecting to the Azure Blob Storage. A Blob Container Client, the Blob Container Client allows you to manipulate Azure storage containers and their blobs, right? Blob service client is that one allows you to manipulate Azure storage service resources and blob containers. The storage account provides top-level namespace for the blob service. A blob URL builder, blob URL a builder class provides a convenient way to modify contents in your of the URI instance to point to different blob storage resources like an account, container, whatever the case may be. Cool. Then there's an exercise here where create blob storage resources by using .NET Client library. Using a .NET Client library to perform as your blob storage action below. Create a container, upload a blob to container list, blobs in client, download blobs, delete what do you call it? Delete the container. Cool. That's what we have for that. Uh, Example exercise. Okay, that's that. Storage resources. Okay, so that's the activity that I clicked on. So once I've clicked on it, this is what it actually opens up. This is the page itself. So this is a very bulky. That's the exercise. Create blob storage resource by using .NET Client. That's a bunch of information that we need to go through. I am not sure how long this video is going to be because I've already spoke for 3 minutes, but let's get into it. So cool, this I've done before. I just deleted one resource group there. So what I want to do is Azure group create. I don't have that yet. Okay, cool. Let me not be super lazy. I'll do the group AZ group create. There's location. Then uh, West Europe. This is what we've been had the best of luck with. Name, I'm gonna say AZ204 HRG. That's the name of my resource group. AZ, luckily spots that one. AZ group create location that's what it's creating there. This will deploy the resource group for us. That's the command to say everything or the response to say everything right as we expected. So now I'm gonna type AZ storage account create dash resource group nope resource group then I'm gonna say AZ24. I think that's what I created up there. Okay, dash grg, right? Then I'm gonna say dash name. That's the name of the location where we want to, or the location of the account. They are calling it what? Storage account has to be unique. Let's say Dicarabo storage. Hopefully I'll remember that. Dash location. The location is West Europe again. I'm not going to specify anything. This is creating the storage account for us. Here they still tell you that the length has to be between 3 and 24. This thing is still running. Cool. Create credential for storage account. Navigate to the portal account. Security plus networking. Okay, here you view the account access key and the connection string value and the key. Select the copy button. Okay, that's me copying the connection strings. I'll do that once I've done everything. Let's see if I can have it here. I don't think it gives me that kind of output here because it's confidential information to some degree. But anyways, let's go for it. Cool. Then here they said make, let me say, make that easy. What do I want to call it? Blob uh, console. Right? I'm just making a container that cd blob dash console. Just getting into that folder. Then I'm gonna run the .NET new command. .NET new. The name of the project. I'm gonna call it AZ204 dash blob. But I'm gonna call it similar to what they called it there, just to remove certain level of hassle. That's that. .NET new creates the projects. For example, the console. Okay, then specify console. That's what was created. Then I need to cd into my project az add. After that, I need to run .NET build just to make sure that the project was running. Specify thingy. Okay, is there. Let's see what's in there. Okay, there. And that's there. What's that command? Yes. There. Cool. And that it's showing me that file. Let me just actually navigate there because I don't know how it looks now. It's very confusing. I didn't expect that. That in here I created a file called Azure Blob, Blob console, Azure Blob. There's a program file in there. So why does it not? Oh, does .NET build not work? Blob console. Yeah, I need to cd into my project AZ04. CD into AZ04. Cool. Then .NET build. .NET build. How long does it take to actually build a project? Okay, cool. That was successful. Then they say I must make a directory called data. After doing that, I need to run dot. So this you might want to remember .NET add package Azure dot storage dot blobs. So this here is the name of the package itself. Pretty sure you guys developers of some degree use that, but if you're not a .NET developer, that's what it does. Just to make sure that that didn't break anything, .NET Build. Then what I want to do is just open Visual Studio in this file. Trust all of those, yes, right? Now we are getting very small in terms of space, so I probably need to put that on the different page and do execute what they requested for us there. So program file, if I look at it, holy nigga, this is nice. Oh, sorry for that. Wait. So this is minimal APIs already because I have .NET 6 installed. So I'm just gonna create what I'm used to. I just copy pasted the information from the URL there. Then I need to set connection string. Can I do it in here or should I do it somewhere? Okay, storage account either way will be deleted, so I didn't want to expose this information, but anyways, for you guys, I'll do it. This is confidential information that shouldn't be shared with just about anyone, because once they have this information, they technically have access to your storage account. So that's my storage account. Then under that, I need to have configuration properties, maybe. These properties, configurations. I think it still needs to be endpoints. Yep. So on endpoints, it's giving me a bunch of endpoints there. Trying to find connection string. I can see it from here. To subscription and that default. Cool. I want access keys. Cool. So connection string is there. That's my connection string. So even if I copy it and paste it in code, either way, you're gonna see this clear text, so it doesn't matter. So I'm just gonna copy. There's a key there. That's the full connection string. That's what I need. So this is just the key. This is the full connection string that's required. That I'm going to paste here. That's what I meant when I said, oh, okay, that's what I meant when I said you guys are gonna see the connection string. But anyways, cool. Then after doing that, I need to go to my application that's described. I need to then build a solution. I build a full app for each of the following steps below. And that. So currently that's the code. If I run it, I have the DLL thing in there. Let's see .NET. Let's see .NET run. See what that does. Okay, so that is technically printing what we have there. This is what it does. So it does the connection strings, gives us the code there. That's that. Press to exit. This is that particular part. Cool. So this thing is running. I'd have liked press enter to exit application. Cool. I'd have liked something else, like debugger of some sort. I don't have those tools installed on my Visual Studio Code. So anyways, I'm coming to that section where it creates a container. So basically, at this level, all I'll be doing is pasting this code here that says Control Z, KF, like that. Okay, doesn't want me to format my code, which is fine, not a problem. So what would happen is using the connection string, it will get a client. Using the client, it will say it will use a container client, right? With a container client, it will say that's this container name comes from string blob. Okay, so it will create this part, right? Yeah, okay, cool. So it's using the container name and it's telling me that it's creating that. Then I'll go to the portal to check if that has been created and all that. So currently this is my storage account. Let me just go to overview, nothing. So there's no containers, right? So now what I'm going to do is I've literally saved that code. So what I'm going to do now is .NET build, .NET, no, no. I hope it didn't spin up another instance. Okay, cool, at least. Cool. So that after that, I want .NET run. .NET run, it's gonna tell me a bunch of things. Azure Blob Storage, this is the name of the container that it's going to create. Has been created. Take a minute and verify in the portal. Next, the file will be created and uploaded to the container. Press enter. Cool. That worked essentially. So if I go to the portal, I bring back the portal if I'm kind enough, and I go into my storage account. Oh, I hate hate it when this thing minimizes. Containers. So that's my container. If you wanted a more friendly name than what we have on that code currently, we could effectively go there and say in there, we want a container name that says awesome. So I'm basically running the same code, just creating another container. That's what will happen. No, I always do this thing. Let build, let run. We'll create a container called awesome for us. Yeah, a container named awesome has been created. I need to press enter to exit the application. Cool. Once that's done, again, we can go to I'll share containers. That's my container awesome. And the access level is by default set to private. So what do I need to do here? So first things first, what we need to note is we are using the library that we installed, which is Azure.Storage.Blob. Under that, we use the class blob container to create the blob container client to create the container. Once you've done this, this code here gets away. We take it out, right? We move to the next section of our exercise, where it's now we have a an activity that says upload blobs to container, right? Copy. Cool. Remember, we created a folder called data. There was an activity for us to do that. And why is this thing not sure? Okay, let's see. BlobClient does it. Okay, it's a continuation, so it wants me to create that blob. I wonder if this thing creates, if not created. Creates a new blob container on a specific account. The container same name already exists operation phase. Okay. BlobClient. Then why does it require me to use that BlobClient? There's something wrong with this exercise. Create container. For each example below, code append code. Copy and paste it on previous snippet code section. Okay, cool. So what I was doing was something else. They want us to do it in, well, copy everything, then paste it in there, then run the whole thing. So what I'll do is not what they recommend. So I'll create a command that says create container. I'll say container and container and maybe length. Let's say content. Wait, so it's gonna create a file here called that, and after that it will upload it to the BlobClient URI. BlobClient was created here with that file name, right? Cool. So that's what I'm naming my what do you call it? Container name. I'm gonna say that and blob. That's the second container we are creating. Cool. .NET build. .NET. I did not have this command all the time I need. So this is going to create a new container for us there. Don't need to do that. So what they recommend is just going through the whole or pasting all the code that you require as you go along. And I'm doing it step by step because I like seeing the different actions. Uploading the blob, there's the blob, the file was uploaded. We'll verify listing the blob next. Cool. So we don't like it when they do that. We want to do these things ourselves. Hence why that's that. And just now refreshing that, we said we're going to create container with blob. Then in there, we actually indeed have a blob that is on hot access tier. See here, you have what do you call? You have download functionality. So what I was talking about was if I change this to archive and I save it, that's the blob we just created, by the way. How silly of us. So it's now in archive. If I click on it, notice that the download button is now grayed out. So that's what I was talking about. Cool. Without further ado, I'll go to the next section of the code that says we said upload blobs to container. That's what we were doing there. So now it's to say list blobs in container, right? I would have wanted my archive thing to be in there as well. But anyways, this is going to list all the content in there. So this is going to list whatever that we upload. So that we go back to our Visual Studio Code. So what we're using there to create a blob, we're using a blob client. That is very, very important to remember. So now we have functionality that will list the blob that we create. Cool, not faced by that. The name will be wishy-washy because it will have this GUID in between. Okay, let's change that and say awesome blob in the container or awesome blob container, right? We are creating another container with another blob. And that's once it's created, it will go through the client and tell us what's the blob name that's there. So we are expecting that. I think I need this actually. Let me just remove that code. We will have awesome blob dot text, which is fine. I'm saving that code. Then what am I gonna create? I'm gonna first build this thing. Then after that, I'm gonna run it. After running it, it will tell me that it's creating a container, awesome blob container. Then after that, it is now waiting for my command. So it's going step by step. If we wanted to, we could paste the code, all the code, and probably use this type of functionality for them. It has uploaded that blob. Now, what it will do is it will read the blob and tell me that, okay, this file is in the blob. So what is the blob that we are reading? This is the blob that we created, awesome container. So when you go there and we say arrange account, blob containers, let me just refresh this in some. We have awesome blob. I think that's what we just created now. We have our awesome text created there. Cool. What do they want us to do? That's now using what were you using to list a blob item using container client. Let's go back to our code to verify what instance we are using. So we have done this file thing going on. Then we have a container, which is that blob container client. We are using the blob container client to find out what blob items we have in our code, well, in our storage accounts container. Then what is the next step? The next step is detailed here as the list. So now here we are going to download, right? Download. We will have that downloaded path was local file path that replace. Yeah. I'm assuming this is one of the variables they created there. Or you can also delete a container. So happy with that. What I'm gonna do here just to save time is I'm gonna copy this command to delete the container afterwards, just to show that we delete and create. So cool. So let me just make sure that okay, after this, the next step is to delete container. I need to wait a bit. So that what we need to make sure of, let's change our blob container name. Let's call it 500 this time. I don't know why, but yeah. Cool. What are we doing here? Oh shit, this. Okay, cool. .NET build. .NET run. Run is telling us that it's there. So it created the blob container, sorry. It uploaded the blob. It has listed the blobs that are in there. Now it is actually going to download this thing, right? Downloading blob, that's that. I hope it is where I expect it to be. Blob, let me see, Azure blob. Inside that we have data. Yep. See here, it has awesome blob downloaded. That's the download step, which is effectively this particular code block here that says I'll download that blob that you got essentially. So it's saying it's using a download blob info, which is using a blob client, which is essentially the blob client itself, as we mentioned. So based on the blob client, it then creates a download. Download is a stream of some sort, essentially. So that we're creating it using a stream. We put a file stream in there uh, from the download info.content that basically writes it to the file that we have specified, which is that file there, right? Document.test with that, which is effectively what we had. Cool. Where are we now? Now this has to deleting local source and data files. Okay, cool. So this is needs to delete our blob container first before it does the cleanup, or you will do the cleanup and that. So just to verify, from this command, when I did a .NET run, it created an awesome 500 container. This is awesome container 500. So we're expecting this thing to be deleted. Deleting blob container, right? File here, containers 500 should be gone. Yep, it's gone. And after that, cool. Deleted all the data that it had on my local. I hope. Clean up my PC. I don't like it when things are lingering. Cool. Thank you very much. That's happiness from my side. Let's get to the business again. So what did we do here? That's the recap. So we initially created the storage using a bunch of commands. We then created the what you call connection string. Then after that, we put container name, created a bunch of containers. So we used the blob container client to create the container using a method called create blob container assigned there from our blob service client. So blob service client creates a container. Based on the container, we create a blob client. Based on the blob client, we then upload a file. After creating the file, we then use the container to read the blob items in there. Then based on the blob items we have in there, well, that's us creating a download path. We actually use our blob client to download async. So our blob client will download files, then put it into download info. Then using download info, we then copy that to our file stream, which is essentially what we saw with that download.txt file. Cool. Then after that, it was a bunch of cleanup. And then, yeah, I can cut the video on this particular level. But what I'll do, because you guys will try using my connection string, what I'll then do is show you guys that AZ group, delete dash name. I think, what was my storage account name? Not my storage account name. Resource group. So I'm deleting everything in that resource group. In case you want to use my connection string, forget about it because it's already gone. Can I not select what's going on? There. So if you are interested in recording videos, remember to do this cleanup if you don't want to risk anything. Cool. While that's going away, I'll then stop the video. Cheers, guys.